I talk about the straight kick all the time, and it's one of my passions in teaching when it comes to soccer. Unfortunately, with US players, it's simply just overlooked. We might teach it once in a while, show it to a player, but we don't program it into players. Very few players. Lindsay's a good example of a player that had a coach from South Africa, and he was hugely popular, hugely focused on the straight kick. That's all he taught. And she is a beautiful striker of the ball. You can see it in players. I see players that are 17, 18, even into college level players that can't perform a straight kick properly. Now, they may be able to come up and do it once or twice, but I mean in a game situation, they have no load. They've never been repetitively trained on the straight kick.
Well, the first personal trainer only taught the straight kick because that's what was most effective and that's what he grew up with over in South Africa. So the straight kick is what they use all over the world except here.
When I was in my young teens, I had a coach that was from Scotland. He had come over to America to start coaching soccer here. He was very, very big on fundamental skills, the straight kick that most Europeans use, but we in America tend to brush over if we can. So he was very big on me learning exactly what was going on with my feet when I was actually touching the soccer ball.
Understanding the difference between an angle kick and a straight kick. It's one of my pet peeves. We have to learn the straight kick. The straight kick is straight through and straight back with a large load in the leg, and it comes straight through. Angle kick is anytime we start to swing that leg outward. Casey is a natural outward shooter. She shoots with the instep. She naturally shoots, and she shoots at a little bit of an angle when she comes down, and she shoots at an instep. Now, you had a coach from Scotland who, after he coached you, went and played professional soccer, but one of the things he was absolutely dead set on was what?
Straight kick.
Making sure that you could learn the straight kick. Now, there probably weren't a lot of players that actually utilized that because they didn't drill on it enough. Even yourself, I'll bet you found, well, you know what? I never really pulled it out of my arsenal a lot because I never drilled it and drilled it and drilled it.
It was a last resort.
It was a last resort. Exactly. Same thing. Now, you're different. I have a hard time getting her to do an angle kick. When I tell her to do an angle kick, she gives me this look like, she comes in and almost every shot in some form or manner is a straight kick. It's a straight kick. If I tell Lindsay to do an angle kick with a sweet spot, she comes in and then she ends up doing a modified straight, which is fine. You're gonna see that. You're gonna see some people even teach a modified straight kick, where instead of coming in and striking with the laces, we actually come through at a little bit of an angle and we turn our foot and strike it here. Some people teach that. I don't believe you should teach it to youth players. I believe you teach the two basic kicks. Learn a straight, learn an angle. After you master those, go play all you want. Do anything you want with it. But those are the two basic kicks. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you exactly how to figure out, am I doing a right straight kick? What I've got here is I've got a rebounder, I've got a soccer hop set up with a straight line. And we're gonna get in and we're gonna strike it, and we're gonna strike it, and we're gonna strike it, and we're gonna do it over and over again, slow motion. Then we're gonna move up faster. Then we're gonna move up faster because we have to reprogram. One of the things that every player must learn is the difference between a muscle memory and just seeing how to do something. If you get shown how to do something, as soon as you get into a game, you won't do it. A ball comes at you, it's muscle memory. You have to reprogram that. That's why we go back, especially on advancing and advanced players. They have so much muscle memory and so many habits. We've got to go back to step one and break it down. The first step when working with an advancing player is to slow down this motion, place a line on the ground, and observe the path of the foot. We make any corrections that we need to with either the path or position of the foot. Corrections may include a foot path that swings outside or inside the line, or an ankle turn. Whether the foot is turned inward or outward, that is wrong. The foot should be locked in a straight position with the laces facing the ball. Step number 2, the player strikes down the line, maintaining a straight leg and straight foot straight down the line. Step number 3 is we move back slightly, move the ball off to the side of the line, still reinforcing that there is a straight line that the leg and foot need to travel. Next, we shoot on goal with a straight line still present, increasing the speed and power. Remember, we want the line on the ground to reinforce in the player's mind that this is a straight path. Let's talk about the transition in the straight kick. There is definitely a transition in the straight kick from a beginning to an advanced player. When we start with the straight kick, we have a smooth step-through motion. There is little explosion at the ball, and we simply want the player to maintain a V-swing through the shot. As the player advances, we can then work on having a strong explosion point at the ball. This eventually becomes a very quick, powerful, explosive shot. You'll notice, as this starts to happen, the ball will be very powerful and have little spin. Using a straight kick, but we're going to use a straight kick and we're going to play with striking the ball off center. We're going to watch the spin and we're going to watch how the ball deflects. Deflection is not a turn because of pressure differences. Deflection is I push you on the right side, you go to the left. That's what deflection is. I push the ball on the right side, it goes left. So when we strike the ball on the right side, two things are going to happen. We're going to strike it on the right side. The ball is going to deflect to the left, but it's also going to have a right to left spin because we also have friction on our foot. And the friction is going to apply torque and the ball is going to spin. Now the only thing you have to concentrate on for this exercise is maintain your straight line, and I want you to strike the ball right about here. And I want you to watch your foot strike the ball. I don't want you to watch for results on this, okay? That's the hard part because you're going to want to see what happens. I don't want you to see what happens. I want you to watch your foot strike perfectly right here, okay? So we're coming through and we're going to do pretty much, pretty close to a full speed kick. We're just going to stare at that right side, strike, and watch our foot hit it. You have to come in perfectly straight. Watch this next kick in slow motion. What we want you to learn is that whether it's intentional or unintentional, striking the ball off center will cause a huge amount of deflection. Casey is approximately 25 feet away from goal, and watch how far the ball veers to the left. There's only one way that an advancing or an advanced player can learn the straight kick. It's through repetitive motion training. Repeating this kick over and over, time and time again, will slowly and gradually program the muscle memory. Here's another great visual summary as to why we have to have a straight kick in our arsenal. Keep in mind during this drill that Lindsay has been told to only use a straight kick. Casey has been told that she must approach the ball from a 45-degree angle and use an angle kick. I want you to look at this picture. We have a line on the left and cones on the right. I want you to imagine that both are defenders, one on the left and one on the right. You'll notice that with a straight kick, we can continue a straight travel, the ball stays in front of us, and we have the ability to strike. However, when we move to an angle kick, We are forced to either step across the line into a defender's path or push the ball over the cones into a defender's path. This is a crucial element for any great striker.